Hello, I'm Grace Chadding and I'm the founder of Western Women Mean Business. Now, and I just want to tell you a little bit more about what that means. I started Western Women Means Business. I was inspired by, like many other people, by the words of the Dalai Lama when he said, he made the statement, the world will be saved by Western women. And, that was back in 2010 or thereabouts. He had said it in the context of being at the Nobel Peace Prize Awards, and there were 10 women receiving awards then. But at about that time, there was a lot of studies and research had been done at by the Harvard Business Review people, and they were saying how not only were women surpassing men on all kinds of domains, but in particular in academia and in education. But teams were, there was a good gender mix in senior management teams. They were by far outperforming teams where they were mostly male dominated, and I kind of wondered, was that perhaps why he was saying that? Um, I thought it was just a kind of a bit of a platitude and something nice to say, but I thought, well, he's quite a highly revered person and he doesn't just say things like randomly. So anyway, I chewed on that for a number of years, and basically, in the constant chewing it over, so to speak, and contemplating it really, I came to see that what the Dalai Lama was seeing was he wasn't seeing the institutionalized and systematic discrimination and against women in the workplace here. He wasn't seeing the glass ceiling. He wasn't seeing the struggle that Western women were having for some equality. What he was seeing was that we had the vote, we had access to education, to further education, higher education. We could go in and out of it. If we were able to do that, if we made the circumstances right, nobody was barring us or banning us from it. We had access to the labour market, to career paths. We had birth control. We could become wealthy. We could own property, and many other things that we enjoy in the West. Whereas what he was saying in the East was like hundreds of millions of girl babies, infants, in, for example, China and India, being either aborted before birth and or left to die after birth, because girls were considered to be, and still are, considered to be something of a liability. No access to education, or very little. Girls being shot like Malala for attending school. Definitely no access to birth control, having to be chaperoned if they went out, and conversely being exploited in the sex trade or sex slavery. So, by comparison, women in the West had it easy. But when I really pondered that, I thought, well, yes, from we got the vote to 60 years later, we had a woman, a female prime minister. And we have 30% of the cabinet now are female. But I realised that what I had a tendency to do, and I believe many other Western women had a tendency to do, is to focus on the bit that we haven't got, to focus on the glasses half empty. So it occurred to me, if we were able to make that amount of progress at a macro level, if we were able to make that amount of progress, how would it be in this day and age now with the advances in technology? And actually, if you look at now, recently the Me Too movement, the Time's Up movement, those movements have just sprung up where women for centuries afraid to talk, afraid to speak up, not being heard, not being believed, not being listened to, and actually being even more victimized for speaking up. But now these movements have grown up where women and men are able to stand up and say, me too. And actually time is up, and you can feel the power of those movements. Now, if women were doing that in an organised, conscious, intentional way, because nobody was out with placards arranging all this, it happens by social media. And that is one of the big differences now. So when women get together collectively, we can do a whole lot more than if we were doing it alone. So I do believe that we are on the crest of a wave, and we can make far quicker progress and more progress. I'm not saying forget about the inequalities and the discrimination, but I'm saying there is another way of doing that, and we can do that collectively by tuning in to that transpersonal aspects of ourselves that can make things move in the ether. So I'm inviting you, if you would like to know more, I have a local group here in Plymouth that people are very welcome to join, and an online group which is about to be launched. If you would like to find out any more about it, please contact me if you go to my website. It's www.gracechatting.com, and you can book a call to speak with me about anything you wish. Bye for now.